Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Make sure you guys watch from start to finish. That helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's get into the show.
You own a Tesla. I own a Tesla.
Yeah.
Right? You and I both know we can see who goes in that Tesla and who goes out that
Right,
Tesla.
there's cameras everywhere.
Cameras everywhere. But not only that, you can see what card opens the car. You can see if it's a card. You can see if it's a phone. You can see whatever goes in there.
I didn't even think about that.
So they can go to that time where that car was and see the last person to go into that car just by going on that Tesla app. And if you think the Tesla company doesn't have at least a year or 6 months of footage, I'm sure they have it on a hard drive somewhere. So they can find immediately who was the last person to drive that car. They can see who parked that car on that street. They can see what phone it came from, and it has cameras everywhere.
Right. There's no like actual physical key that you could put. There's no metal key you could put in a Tesla.
No.
It's these little, the
It's either
handles
a
are
card
just buttons.
or your cell phone.
Yeah,
It's a card or a cell phone.
And you can see what worked that day. Was it his cell phone? Because if it's his cell phone, you could put him at the point of the crime. Or he would have to say who used my phone that day.
Right. But you could have multiple card keys.
Correct.
For your Tesla.
You're right.
And you could say, yeah, I got 5 or 6 of these around. My manager uses it. My personal assistant uses it. My side chick uses it. Sometimes I go out of town. I let people drive my car and so forth.
But you can see exactly who did it and who did not.
Yeah.
And then the worst of the worst, you can look in the cameras. I mean, I can go with my Tesla cameras to see my kids in the camera. Me and my kids in the car if they're in the car while whatever. While I'm running the store to go get ice cream and the kids there, I can see them.
This makes it even crazier.
The system wasn't built for you to win. You went to school to memorize facts you never use. You were trained to raise your hand, wait your turn, and follow instructions. Then they told you, get a job, work 40 hours a week, give half of it to tax, retire at 67 if you're lucky. That's not a life. That's a script. And most people don't question it because they're too tired from living it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's when you realize freedom was never going to be handed to you.
Monica Lewinsky, she's a member of the tribe. A lot of people don't know this.
Absolutely. The stories are that Monica Lewinsky was an outright Mossad spy working directly under, make of that what you will, Benjamin Netanyahu.
That seems like the most likely scenario from what I've gathered.
I agree.
And then they gave the story to the Drudge Report, who is of the tribe.
Of course. What's extremely interesting is that Bill Clinton doesn't want to sign the Iraq Liberation Act.
And what was that going to do?
And that was going to give America the authority to invade Iraq to protect its interests, which is a crock. It wasn't its interest, it was Israel's interest, right?
Invade Iraq to protect their interests.
Well, after the scandal with Monica Lewinsky comes out, guess what? He puts his name on the
I
dotted
bet
line.
they had something worse on him because obviously he was really good friends with that. That was like a warning shot, I think.
I agree completely. And then Bush cites the Iraq Liberation Act to go to war. You see?
It's all tied together.
Well, no duh, they had something on him. Epstein had a damn picture of him right when you walk in the house in a blue dress and red heels. They had something on him.
Never use toilet paper from a local place with your kids or yourself. Fucking dirtballs cleaning their needles in here.
Yeah, drug users do use toilet paper rolls to clean their dirty needles. So if you see blood spots, brown spots, or general indents that shouldn't be there, that is what's happening. Carrying flushable wipes with you is a great idea, and if the TP roll is locked, remember, it might not have always been locked.
Do a little shake. We do the little shake after, right?
This is something else that Muslims are freaking out online about. Look what this psychopath did. He took a pile of ants and he killed them in like a bunch of different ways. He just drops them on fire.
The ant has like a special status in our faith a little bit.
Dude,
they're mentioned by name in the Quran. We know that they have intelligence beyond the comprehension of human beings. Our religion gives every living object on earth rights. Every living thing on earth has rights. You're going to be punished if you cut down a tree for no reason, let alone killing living creatures that God designed for our ecosystem.
You gotta realize, the whole world know I hate rats, I hate snitches, I ain't into telling. So people always wanna know, is Pac alive? I'm the wrong facts. But I tell you this, if you try to find the person who cremated Tupac, after he supposed cremated Tupac, he retired and vanished into the sun, into the sunset, into the darkness. After you really look at it, could Pac done all those songs? So the mathematically impossible. So answer your own question. Is he here or is he dead? But at the same time, that was my little brother. His code name was Machiavelli, like mine is Simon. And if you know the story of Machiavelli, he faked his own. But at the same time, they wanted to put Pac back in prison. If Pac would fake his own, disappear before he go back to prison. So you answer that. Do you still hear? Do you still see? I'm quite sure you do. But once again, ain't in the telling, so you never know.
They offered us $100 million to sell my soul, Tiax to sell his soul. They given us the deals, but we're not taking it. Why? So I can shave my eyebrows, dye my hair, dress like a girl, put makeup. No, chat, I'm not doing that stuff. A lot of these streamers that you see that do that stuff, they sold themselves. And you can tell why they have money. Look at every streamer that's ever dressed like a girl. Look at every streamer. Look at every streamer that's ever dressed like a girl, put makeup on. They're all rich, but they're always doing humiliation rituals. And I'm not gonna do that. I stand strong and heavy with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I'm always gonna stand by him, no matter what. I don't care about the money. Remember this, el dinero lo hacemos, no nos hace.
There's a new trend on TikTok, and it's called Scientology speedrun. And the goal is pretty simple. Run as far into a Scientology building as fast as you can before getting caught. And if you are stopped, brace yourself, because they do not hold back when they kick you out.
Get out! Get out! What are you doing? Get out of the building! Now! You're trespassing! Get out of the building! Get out! Get out! Stop it!
The internet, man. Streamers.
Thank you. Go!
But guys, this has become so much more than just a joke, because some people are going as far as to try and map out the entire layout of this building so that they can plan their future runs in order to make it even further and break what they're now calling the speedrun record. Bro, this is becoming Subway Surfer Scientology. And it's only that because one group recently brought an air horn along with them to cause the biggest disturbance possible.
Get out! Get out! What are you doing? Get out of the building! Now! You're trespassing! Go! Go up! Where are you going down for? Hey! Come on! Get out! Get out! What are you doing? Get out of the building! Now! You're trespassing! Get out of the building! Get out! Stop it! Get out! Just get out! Just get out! Thank you! Go! Get out! Go!
You need more time. Does that
I don't
mean
get it.
Americans should anticipate spending more on gasoline for the foreseeable future?
For a little while. And you know what they get for that? You know what they get for that? Iran without a nuclear weapon that's going to try and blow up one of our cities or blow up the entire Middle East. You want to see what shock would be? And I have to be honest, the stock market is at an all-time high right now. I thought it would have been down 20, 25%. When we hit, wait a minute, wait, can I finish my question, wise guy? Stock market's at an all-time high right now. I projected, and I'm pretty good at this, that the stock market, Howard, would drop maybe 20%, 25%, and I understood that.
We need our prices to drop 20, 25%. Right? Yeah, it's nice that the stock's up, but you know, the majority don't reap those benefits until 40 years from now, right? 20 years from now.
And I said, hey, it's a bad thing, but I have to do what's right for the country, even the world.
His people reap it right away.
You cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. So the stock market, unlike what a lot of people were predicting, I thought they weren't necessarily wrong. And the stock market today hit an all-time high. Hit an all-time high yesterday, the day before, and it's staying there. I thought oil would go up to maybe $200 a barrel, and oil is a different number than anyone thought. In fact, this country is much lower because we have all the oil we can use. We're actually, ships are coming from all over the world to Texas, Louisiana, and Alaska. They're coming from all over the world to get oil from the United States, you know, while this is closed, the Hormuz Strait. So if you look at what I said, I guess it was right, because I said I'd have it 4 to 6 weeks, and in 4 weeks we have totally defeated their military. So right now, I don't want to rush it because you guys are, you know, trying to make us look as bad as possible. I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time. and I want to get a great deal. I want to get a deal where our nation and the world is safe from lunatics with nuclear weapons.
Cheney's giving them this intelligence that is everything they want to hear. Saddam has WMDs. Fake.
The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
But so you still think he should be impeached?
I think it's my turn, isn't it? You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied. Okay. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
It used to.
He did it before. Well, you think they're not doing it now? They're not doing it now? Think this war is over nuclear weapons? Let me know down below. Do you think this war is for nuclear weapons?
$100,000 to film at the observatory. Now it is $30,000. We've reduced the number of city staff that are required to be on location. All of these things help reduce the cost of filming in Los Angeles, an industry that for too long we took for granted because it was so much a part of our city that we didn't recognize that what was a part of our city could also leave our city and leave our city permanently. But I look forward to working with the council member on this issue, but also on his package of legislation as he is the lead in the city council in terms of doing whatever we can to make sure our industry doesn't just stay, but grows and thrives.
We're filming in Australia. I'm like, guys, why do we film in Australia? Like, Australia's nice, and they're like, you can't make a movie in Hollywood. I go, what do you mean you can't make a movie? They go, you can't. I go, where was Hollywood on the list of places we could film? They're like, not even top 10. It was Australia. You get 60% off in taxes. If you're making like a $10 million rom-com, that's one thing. If you're making a $100 million, $200 million film, 60% off in taxes. So I'm not worried about the actors. There's the guys who do the lighting. They're like working class guys. They make good money, don't get me wrong, but like that goes away. Like a lot of the crew that came out to film in Australia was from LA, and a lot of them have moved out of LA. They've moved to like San Diego. Like my boy Nick, he's like, yeah, there's just no work in LA right now, so we'll travel for the job, and then I just live the rest of my time in San Diego. That's a problem.
Brother, I'm looking at these chickens right now. Check this out. There is no way a chicken is that size. My whole chicken breast, when I cook a chicken breast, is like the size of this entire chicken.
I'm sorry, guys. I really try not to get political on my page, but when I seen these prices this morning, I was like, what in the war, what in the Trump are these prices right now? So look, you see what they say? $1.25 for corn each. I have never ever seen one piece of corn cost $1.25 each.
I mean, with this stuff, sometimes you got to outsource. You got to go to different grocery stores. You can't get everything at Walmart, especially your meat. Don't get your meat at Walmart. But at Albertsons, one piece of corn is 14 cents. You know, this might have been in the winter. If you notice right now, she's got a long sleeve shirt on. That's not corn season. Corn season's in the summer, in the late spring. That's corn season where you get it 10 for $1. It's coming, but you know, different types of seasons. I eat a lot of corn on the cob on the grill, y'all. I like corn on the cob on the grill, so I know my prices with corn in the summer. They drop right now. They're 14 cents each at Albertsons Safeway.
And then I was scanning some more lemons, 64 cents each for one lemon.
Those are kind of expensive.
It's actually 64 cents. That is very, very expensive. Wait. I think I seen something else that kind of blew my mind. Oh, somebody who I work with, she was telling me about the price of bell peppers. I don't think we got them priced because we had to move them, but she was telling me that each bell pepper now is $1.25. And she was like, look how small they are.
Yeah, the green ones were always cheap.
Prices are
like
going
a quarter.
through the roof.
I noticed they are expensive.
Me, she told me one more price that was expensive. Now, with this, I can say this price do go up seasonal, But right now, we're going into the season where this price should not be this high on this product.
Watermelon.
But she can't stop talking about it. Look, watermelon, $9.42 each.
Summertime.
That's
It should
usually
drop.
a wintertime price. But everything is truly going up.
Maybe this is summer.
I hope you're ready for this. This is gonna be a long ride, y'all.
Maybe that is, current, right? It looks like, I think she works at Walmart, so it might be chilly in there. She wears a jacket, but I haven't really looked at the corn and all that. But I outsource, y'all. I don't get all my stuff at one store, right? I go to like 3 different grocery stores getting my stuff, and that's what you got to do if you want to save money.
I'm in the Archaeological Museum of Ancient Olympia, and this is the western pediment of the Temple of Zeus. I'll remind you that the Temple of Zeus in Olympia housed one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, which was the statue of Zeus at Olympia. It's no longer with us, but I want to show you something incredible. So these are the pediment sculptures from the West Pediment. They would have been 20 meters roughly above the ground, okay? So about 60 feet. And I want you to have a look at some of the details that are even hard to see when you're this close. Look at this woman's hand. Look at the nails. Now have a look at this hand. You can see the veins. This was 2,000 years before Michelangelo sculpted the David, by the way. And then one more thing that I'm sure Bernini would have appreciated. Have a look at the hand there gripping the beard. It's like it's sinking into a pillow.
Do I even need to say anything anymore? Like, it's so obvious. This is Travis Scott, Heist in the Room album, and this is the Freemasonic tracing board with the ladder up to the sky, to the path to enlightenment. From west to the east, Freemasons call themselves traveling men. They travel from west to east. West is where the sun sets, so this is the sunset. And east is where the sun rises, so it's going from darkness to light. From low consciousness, checkered consciousness, divided consciousness, to unified consciousness. This is why we need to learn symbolism. Symbolism is the most important thing to learn in this world.
United States of? 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 Right. United States of? Makes you think, doesn't it?
So see that one? That's a security cam. That right there is a flock cam.
Fully support the use of flock cameras. I think it'll not reduce crime.
The flock cam is AI. Photographing and remembering. It will take pictures and videos of your vehicle, right? And it'll log you at this time, at this place, blah, 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 blah. The flock cam goes to a private company. I think it's 90,000 nationwide and 9,000 a DFW. Those little guys watch you and tag you everywhere you go. So it just tagged me now. Even though I don't have a license plate, it's still going to put me down in memory in this spot. So now when I go over to the next cameras, which we're going to go a little ways in, those cameras will ping me as well. And then this private company is going to know I was here and went to there and was pointing at their cameras. Flock safety, 24/7 recording. So see, they're getting you when you come in, they're getting you when you leave. Neighborhood. Also, the website that we're using just to look up the cameras, the owner of these cameras, the dude that owns the company, he tried to say that it was terrorism. That us knowing where these cameras are on a website is terrorism.
And then unfortunately there's terroristic organizations like DFLOG, whose primary motivation is chaos. They are closer to Antifa than they are anything else.
On what planet is us knowing where these companies' cameras are that are logging our everyday life, does this guy get to say that us knowing where this camera is, like I just found it because of the map, how's it terrorism for me to know where this camera is? That just seems sus, right?
We got one of the most corrupt governments ahorita. Yeah. All the Trump's kids and Trump are insider trading.
The millionaires.
Everybody around him. They know when Trump's going to bomb Iran, so they buy oil stocks. They know when the war's going to start, so they buy defense stocks. These are the ones that make the missiles, the tanks, the jets. And it's really rank corruption. Yeah. And it's wrong for a congressperson to do it, and it's wrong for the president to do it, because that's not information that me and you got. And they buy lobbyists who buy politicians to get tax breaks, or to get contracts, or to get laws changed so that you can sell cannabis, in California or New York, or so you buy more missiles to go shoot them at brown people in Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, those are the realities.
But
You know, the game is rigged, but that doesn't mean Tejanos can't learn the rules of the game, like, you know, overcome the obstacles and become eventually the ones setting the rules, right? Because once we do learn the rules, we take over our financial liberty. We can use that financial freedom and those finances to go in and make ripples in government.
One day you wake up and realize it's all Rourke all the way down, just a bunch of Rourke sandwiches. We're all just walking around deciding whether to eat at Rourke or Rourke.
So you have to understand, if you suck up a spider in the vacuum, it's still alive in there. So my grandma would always do that. She thought it was cruel to take their life, so she would just suck it up and leave it there. So we had a big family trip, and right before the family trip, she said she found this really hideous looking spider. She sucked it up in the vacuum, set it aside, didn't tell anybody. We had the trip, got back. She said she was unpacking. Now, she didn't have her glasses on. She said she thought it was weird because there was lint everywhere, all across the bed, just like little black pieces of lint everywhere. And then she said, you know, as you do when you get back from a trip, she was doing dishes, she was putting in a load of laundry, she was cleaning up a little bit. And then she said she thought it was weird because she turned around toward the bedroom and there was like little black pieces of lint all down the hallway, and she didn't remember that before. So then she decided, you know what, let me get my glasses. She was going to start picking it up. So she puts on her glasses and realizes the lint is moving. We looked it up. What she had sucked up was a hobo spider. Look it up. It's horrifying. Obviously, it had given birth during the trip, and those were its babies that were absolutely covering the closet, that were all over the bedroom and now spreading out throughout the house.
Now, in the past, I never would have considered running for president. I mean, I didn't think I was qualified at all, but now I'm actually worried that I'm too qualified.
Well, the truth is, America needs us. No one can seem to agree on anything anymore except for two things.
Pizza and us.
And us.
This is so strange. Why would you even say that? Pizza and us. Come on now. And after the recent drop, just look at the two people in this clip. You've got him going to pageants, everyone calling him the American dad, calling children certain names on national TV. Some people say it's a joke, but it feels so off. And him, some people say he's the most perfect guy in Hollywood, out there doing skits about children and robots. And everyone just keeps scrolling like it's normal. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
See, the one thing they said was the only, like, these, pretty much the Democrats and Republicans can't agree on nothing, right? So these two got to run, right? They can't agree on nothing. But the one thing we can agree on is pizza. That's the one thing. That is a trip, y'all. That is, and they know what they're doing. They know what this word represents. And that's the one thing that these politicians agree on.
Cena can't have kids because all the steroid abuse he has a kid that's gonna come with like 4 eyes and 3 arms. So it's like, what is this?
Whenever I would mention Cena to my family, I would mention to them, oh, he just doesn't want kids. He says it's like the schedule will be awful and he doesn't want to repeat the same mistakes as all the other legends had with their families. But they would say the same thing. Oh, he's taking steroids. That's why he can't have kids. He just cannot have kids physically. Literally.
And that's why even like Triple H, he had to get off steroids to have kids. The Rock, he had to get off steroids recently because he has a heart condition problem, allegedly. He went from being bulk man to stick man in like 2 seconds. The same thing with Cena. Cena's all blubber. Like I saw before when he was with Brock Lesnar, at least it looked like 2 monster mass people. I was at WrestlePalooza. Cena looked like he was getting ragdolled, and it looked like just like an Evan Bourne type match. Evan Bourne getting thrown around, and Evan Bourne was John Cena in that match, and Brock Lesnar was throwing him around. No, Brock Lesnar needs to work on leg day. He's missing leg day. You know, all that chicken legs that he's eating in his farm, he should be putting that into the mirror, because that's like literally a comparison to his legs.
Doing like, this is an artist that I had. His name is Jeffree Star. He was supposed to be the male version of what Gaga is. He's like the perfect story. We put out his records called Prom Night. First week we did 1 million. We thought we was going crazy, but then it stagnated and it moved. In the meantime, he has this cosmetic line where he has this YouTube tutorial where he's doing makeup on and showing girls how to do makeup, whatever the case. Yeah. I'm looking at the tutorials. Then I'm looking at the video. The video ain't really moving. The music video I'm talking about. But then the tutorial videos, shit start moving, jumping. 10 million views. I said, oh shit. Nigga, we in the wrong business. We need to be selling makeup. I said, yo, Jeffrey, we need to be fucking selling makeup. He said, you think? I said, hell yeah. So I went to China, started moving around with some manufacturers, found a company in LA that did it directly. Man, we messed around, put all it, man, that nigga from an album thought of concept to be business we ended up not even doing music at all. We ended up doing cosmetics with his line called Jeffree Star.
Wow.
We ended up doing $50 million a year on his cosmetics alone. 2 months ago, he's now valued at $2.1 billion.
Have you ever?
So y'all, you gotta, to make it to that level, you're not gonna get there organically. I mean, you probably could have, like you say, he had all that following. Now, was that following organic? I don't know. But you didn't have the mindset. I need to be selling makeup. Like, why? You know what I mean? I don't understand people that don't got that mindset, because that would have clicked with me a long time ago, right? Same with YouTube, y'all. But you got to know somebody. Like Akon got him to make that 2.1 billion. You know what I mean? You got to know somebody, and is anything organic? Is anything like built from the ground up, solo dolo?
Why natural gas smells as bad as it does.
They add the smell, right?
They add the smell.
So that there's a leak.
Yep, that's right. But it all goes back to a tragic story that happened in Texas.
I didn't know that.
Was the reason they added the sulfurous smell to natural gas. So there was a very tragic incident that happened at the New London School in New London, Texas. March 18th, 1937, an entire school exploded, killing almost 300 students and teachers in the 1930s. Yeah. New London sits about 25 miles east of Tyler, Texas. And in the 1930s, they were flush with money because of the local oil boom. So they built a brand new school, but instead of boilers and hot water heating it up, they installed gas heaters throughout the entire building. Now, to fuel them, what they did was they tapped into a local oil company's waste line carrying natural gas to be burned off. Back in those days, natural gas didn't have any value, so companies wanted the oil, the natural gas just went away. And it was common, evidently, to just tap into the line, pull the natural gas you needed off. The oil company didn't care because they were just going to burn it off anyway. And so they tapped into this line as it ran by the school, underneath the school. And now natural gas is naturally odorless and colorless, so nobody noticed when the tap line was leaking and the entire crawl space underneath the entire school had filled up with this highly explosive gas. Students have been complaining of headaches, but nobody really traced it back to the gas leak to wonder why people are, having headaches. So this was, without a doubt, a powder keg waiting to explode. And in the middle of the afternoon, on March 18th, a teacher turned on an electric sander and started a chain reaction. The reports are kind of eerie. They say that it was almost as if sound no longer existed. Like people started rushing into like a silent vacuum. And it was almost like the sound in the area all of a sudden rushed back all at once as the whole community, local communities all rushed in to help dig kids and teachers out of this rubble. But within weeks, the Railroad Commission had adopted a new rule requiring thiol added to natural gas to give it an odorous smell so that something like this would never happen again. So a bit of a downer, but an important story in Texas history, and one that, I'm sure the odorous smell has saved countless lives since.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there was one time here, because I'm in Texas. I don't know if all of Texas is mainly gas, right? Your stovetop, because I know in Arizona, like gas is usually, not always, but in the not of the nicest areas. Most of the nice areas are electric, right? Electric stovetops. But I remember one time here, our things are you barely touch them and that thing moves. So I must have bumped it, and I just started smelling the gas, and I went straight to there, and sure enough, it was turned on. Now we got little safety things on there because the baby likes to, crawl and stand up on walls and stuff. So, that scent, it saved countless lives. Because if I would have never smelt it, probably would have came to bed and never woke up again. That happens.
If y'all needed any more reasoning as to why I'm leaving the country, take a look at this absolute abomination of city planning. Unfortunately, this is how most of America looks outside of big cities. This is not a country anymore, but a functional economic zone that you are meant to contribute to until your life ends. And maybe if you're lucky, every year or two, you can take a vacation to actually live for once somewhere else in the world.
And we just saw that one company owns the majority of all those businesses. The Rorky, right? All the sandwiches he was saying. But like with all the auto places, all the gas stations, they're all owned by, you know, a couple companies that own them all. That's why I say, is it ever going to go back to normal? Are prices ever going to come back like they did in the past? Because this time it's just a monopoly. It is a giant monopoly, and there's two people that run it all, and they don't want to give up that greed.
I remember playing a game in elementary school called Heads Up 7-Up.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Rainy
maybe
Days.
just called it 7-Up, where the teacher would pick like 7 kids, and they would stand at the front, and then everybody would put their heads down, and then you would put your thumb up, and then the kids at the front would walk around, and each of them would pick one student to push a thumb down. Now there's like 30 kids in the class, so there was a bunch that didn't get theirs pushed down. And then the kids at the front would go back up to the front, and then all the kids would lift their heads up, and then they would try to pick who put their thumb down. Hands down, that's the best game.
This is your friendly reminder that this is what LA beaches used to look like. Yeah, isn't it crazy? It was like one giant dystopian oil field. That's because Southern California used to account for 20% of the global output of oil. You might remember this from when you were younger, depending on how old you are watching this, but oil derricks were lining the beach. Palm trees? No. Oil derricks. That's why when you might be playing Mario Kart on Switch, you might wonder why the Los Angeles level has a whole section that's oil derricks. Yeah. Oil derricks in baseball. Long Beach Field first tapped in the 1920s. Yeah, that was one of the most productive sources of oil at the time. And then Signal Hill became known as Porcupine Hill because, yeah, had all these spiky things popping out of it. Hundreds of them. Yes, thousands of these wells were abandoned, decades ago because they're no longer producing. But still, in some areas, oil seeps from the ground. And some of them are just lingering around today, just covered up by, a building or a fence or looking like a fake school or something. Just hidden in plain sight.
Watch what happens when you light a Dorito on fire. The chip burns like a candle for 5 straight minutes due to the rapeseed oil that's absorbed during production. Rapeseed oil is somehow the healthiest thing inside this 3-step sludge. Step 1. The corn triangles are plunged into 375 degrees oil until they've soaked up pure liquid fat. Step 2. The chips are sprayed with yellow 6 and red 40, requiring warning labels in the EU. And step 3. Coated in disodium inosnate spiked cheese powder. Just to be certain, I scanned a bag with the Safe Choice app, and to no surprise, it came back 82% processed, with more than 10 additives hidden behind ingredients I can't even pronounce.
I'd be more interested in knowing how they made the, Barabar caves. I think that's maybe even more fascinating than pyramids. So they carved a cave inside this rock turret that's like a mirror finish. You can see yourself.
Whoa.
Look how shiny the walls are.
It's got to be aliens.
Well, it definitely doesn't look like I was chiseled.
That is insane. Look how perfect that text is.
Well, never mind text, how perfect the walls are. Consistent angles, consistent curvature.
230 BC this was carved out?
That's the inscription.
The inscription was 230 BC, which means the cave's much older.
Probably, yeah.
All of them are...
That's what I'm saying, y'all. This just resets. I think this has been happening since the beginning of time, whenever that was. Was there ever a beginning? Whatever, right? But this has been resetting. We're going to be long gone. And all these houses, all these skyscrapers, all these cars that are left out, all these things are just going to disintegrate and turn to dust. And it's just going to be a new civilization. That's what I think, y'all. That's what I think. I think that's what keeps happening. That's why the geniuses come out of the walls, come out of their bunkers, right? The Zuckerbergs and all them, and they keep running. They run the next civilization. It's just a never-ending cycle, y'all. That's what I think.
Codes, bro. What's a death code? A death code is
a organization. They use people as a resource. They sacrifice those people to these beings, deities, demons, gods, whatever people want to call them,
right,
in exchange for wealth, power, and control on this plane that we live on. Facts. They all death codes.
There is something that happens in the realm of consciousness as a result of music. In other words, it is more than just something pretty or something exciting. It actually changes the brain and can cause a deep change in the corpus callosum, which is the bridge connecting the left and right hemisphere. We combine music with silence. When they asked the Buddha, what's the easiest way for a person to get to nirvana? Buddha said, sound. Music is processed in more regions of the brain than we ever imagined. Music is a great example of how different parts of the brain can act together. Music can have a profound, even physical effect on the brain. Even physical effect on the brain. Music may actually affect brain size. When he compared the brain scans of 30 musicians with those of 30 non-musicians, he found a corpus callosum cable that neurons connecting the brain's left and right hemisphere, the bridge from the left to the right. And keep in mind, you are desperately trying to get from the left to the right. And he found that the corpus callosum, that bridge connecting the left and the right, were larger among musicians. When the patients played drums or sang along with their songs, their serum melatonin levels skyrocketed. So according to the scientists, there is something that happens in the realm of consciousness as a result of music. In other words, it is more than just something pretty or something exciting. It actually changes the brain and can cause a deep change in the corpus callosum, which is the bridge connecting the left and right hemisphere.
我千辛万苦跑到云台天赋源头，却看见一个水管这件事情。我千辛万苦跑到云台天赋源头，却看见一个水管这件。
I can tell you right now, my favorite videos on the internet right now are these high school kids, or whoever they are, running through the Scientology building in Los Angeles. I've been seeing videos for years of people trying to record in front of it and really just messing with Shannon at the desk. But these people are taking it to a whole nother level and just speed running right through the hallways, and I can't get enough of it at this point. You know, this one was especially good because it had a guest appearance from most Shannon herself right here. People have tried stealth techniques to sneak in cameras or those Google lenses to film inside the buildings. But these people just took it to the next step. Let's just run full speed and see how far we can get before the people stop us. What's going to be the real thing if we get to see some speed runs where they try to break into Big Blue. I definitely know security's way higher there. I've been to Los Angeles and I drove by Big Blue. You know, and it's very blue, but it's not as big as you think it is when you actually see it in person. But that's off subject. Maybe if they reach deep enough into the building, they can actually meet Xenu himself. And you can ask him why he threw all those thetans into those volcanoes so long ago. You know, because I didn't approve those thetans to attach to my soul, so I want to clear that up with Xenu why he thought it was okay.
Jay-Z and Beyonce's relationship has become an absolute nightmare since what they did to become famous was revealed. For years, they've made countless references to Satanism and the occult, like that photo of Jay-Z wearing a suit with "Do What You Will" written on it, which is word for word the fundamental principle of Satanism. That phrase comes from Aleister Crowley, a well-known 33rd degree Freemason who practiced magic rituals. On top of that, Beyonce and Jay-Z have even involved their daughter in these strange narratives. Her name is Blue Ivy Carter, and some claim that reversed, it supposedly means daughter of Lucifer. People don't choose a name like that by accident. There's also that famous image of Beyonce wearing a ring with the head of Baphomet on it, and Jay-Z wearing a black magic shirt. They constantly display these symbols in plain sight. There was even a moment where Beyonce, during a concert, wore an outfit identical to the Babylon from the film Metropolis. It's a 1927 film where that character is literally called the Babylon and openly references Lucifer. Among all their connections in the industry, what really raises questions about them as a couple is Jay-Z's proximity to Marina Abramovich, a very controversial figure known for ritual like performances similar to what you see in certain images. The most disturbing part is all those widely circulated videos of Beyonce where she appears completely out of control. It makes people believe that success comes at a cost and that sacrifices are required to reach that level, and that sacrifice would be their soul.
And this is how sick Hollywood is. My manager would be like, okay, I know you're dating, this girl, but when you do this interview, you're still single. Don't mention you have a girlfriend, because the fans want to imagine that you're still available. I'm like, all right, it's business, baby, you know, and you know, so do you have a girlfriend? Nah, you know, I'm just still looking for the one.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then it's like between reality and that, like, which is which, it kind of morphs into the same, right?
Well, and poor girlfriend, she's just like, you don't want to claim me, you don't want to acknowledge me. What am I? You know, just a side piece, a piece of me, you know? And but to me, you know, your condition, and those adult males who were managing me were in many ways the guys that I was looking up to guide me, and they weren't going to take me out back and whip me into shape and initiate me. They were going to use me to the ends of making money.
The director of FEMA, Greg Phillips, he claims he was driving from Alabama and then was instantly transported to a Waffle House in Georgia.
That's happened to me before.
He claims, though, that he was just driving along and then he just zoned out and he's in the parking lot of a Waffle House in Georgia. And he said it was a total of 50 miles that he went instantly.
Whoa.
And he felt dizzy, he felt sick after. But then compared it to a biblical event, like, was that intense?
Yeah.
Or like really messed with his head.
Yeah.
But apparently he was going through some cancer treatment, like he's like, oh, there's the medication and stuff like that. But recently he's doubling down. He's like, I was transported.
Wow.
But I was here and then I was there at a Waffle House.
Dude, what's going on?
Sounds like a SEC Saturday night. Well, you don't see that every day. Check that out. Is that a satellite? Oop. Oh man, we're gonna zoom out. Oh hell. It's a satellite balloon. Up there it said Sataloons. Big old satellite brought up there with a big old balloon. Is that true? That's the other thing too that's kind of strange. If you Google satellites or like pictures of satellites, right? There's no real pictures of satellites. That's crazy. There's supposed to be how many, like thousands up there? And there's no pictures of it. Look at that. Zoom it out. I have no idea. What do y'all think? Are they balloons? That looks crazy as hell. What is that? Looks like a security camera from like 1973. I'm spinning around in a circle. Y'all tell me what you think. Are satellites real? Are they just balloons? I don't know. Leave a comment, let me know.
I was asking Andy Bustamante, who is definitely still in CIA. He said the first most shocking day at CIA is the day you figure out who really runs the world, when they tell you that. And the second most shocking day is learning how you operate within that system, because you ain't gonna change it.
A third of the fertilizers is shipped through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, that is also at risk. And it matters particularly in the southern hemisphere, where the planting and therefore the fertilizers is badly needed now. Because if the price of food increases significantly, it is not going to just be the price of food, it is going to be inflation expectations. Because we know that people are particularly attentive to two things: the price of food, processed and unprocessed, and the price of gas at the petrol station. So if the disruption persists long enough, the adjustment shifts from prices, which we are putting up with now, to possibly rationing, with very different economic consequences.
Guys, the FBI, the Pentagon, the White House, and Congress have all now officially opened up a brand new investigation. There are scientists that are directly connected to NASA, nuclear weapons, and classified military programs that keep on going missing, and nobody knows why.
The FBI is investigating possible connections in the cases of 10 missing or dead scientists and staff who worked at sensitive nuclear or space technology.
So ever since 2022, 11 different scientists that are connected to America's most classified programs have now gone missing under suspicious circumstances. And I cannot believe I'm about to say this right now, but the FBI just confirmed that they are officially looking for connections between all of them. 2 different employees from the same exact nuclear weapons lab vanished weeks apart. Both of them left behind their car, their keys, their wallet, and their phone, and one of their phones was actually factory reset before they disappeared. A NASA engineer just randomly vanished off the planet while hiking and they were never found, and then a retired Air Force general walked out of his house and was never seen again. Those 2 people actually worked together on the same exact classified program. Hello? One of them was actually a military intelligence officer who worked for DARPA. He was gone right before he was supposed to testify to Congress about UFOs, and his cause was never confirmed. And on Kalshi right now, people have bet almost $100,000 that the government is going to confirm that aliens exist before 2027. I am going to keep on watching this story. This is obviously insane, so make sure you add me now so you don't miss any updates.
Reveal my hidden talent, eating micro livestock. Hornworms. They're still alive. Extraordinary.
I like to think of myself as a foodie. I think a lot of my day revolves around thinking about my next meal. I have tried brain.
Oh, wow. Take the fangs out. Yeah. I think it's always been a part of the diet. When was the first time you had these bugs? I first had them when I was first in country. And then you kind of, move up to tarantulas. It's actually really good, the flavor.
What is this that is, I've heard that it's something kind of strange. They're crickets. Oh. Well, then they were supposed to put one cricket per, No. The way you do it is you take the guacamole because they sort of slide off the tortilla. So... the moment I've been waiting for.
Hey, yo, I just learned that 9 to 5, man. Not 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. No. It means 9 hours in a day, 2 off days, and 5 days a week.
Okay, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Stay with me. So I was thinking about Louisiana, and I was thinking about like the swamps in Louisiana, and I was thinking about cypress trees, and I was like, I wonder how old cypress trees are. So like a cypress tree can live to be like 1,500 to 2,000 years old, which is insane to begin with. But then I was like, well, how old though, like is the species of cypress trees? 153 million years old. Okay, got it. So then I was like, even more curious, and I was like, well, did Louisiana look the way that it does, like, during the Jurassic period? Like, were there swamps in Louisiana? No, not really, but do you want to know where they were in the, U.S.? Because, what? Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming. I'm sorry? Swamps? Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming? Swamps. Okay, so I was like, where else were swamps during the Jurassic period? Northern Europe and Russia. Swamps in Russia. I'm sorry, do y'all understand what kind of climate, like, makes a swamp thrive? Like, cypress swamps to thrive, obviously they need just like constant access to water, but they also thrive in warm subtropical weather. Siberia and Russia were warm and tropical during the Jurassic. And like, obviously, I know Pangea splits apart. Russia probably gets a little bit closer to Antarctica at that time, but like, that is mind-blowing to me. That is mind-blowing information to me. That's my rabbit hole for the day.
Watch this.
It is the most egregious race baiting I've ever seen in my life. ESPN, like Jamel Hill and Cam Newton, all these, Ryan Clark, is that his name?
The worst.
I pray often that they're doing it strategically for money, and that's not their true thoughts.
It's their true thoughts.
Like, just watching it, like, it's hard for me to, like, get through a segment.
I believe there's too much money out there that they're not willing to leave on the table if they don't continue to bang the drum about everything and everyone being racist. At ESPN, people don't come there to hear us talk about anything related to us, actually, unless you're taking us back in the huddle. You know, Ryan Clark, when you were with the Pittsburgh Steelers, when you were a good player. That's why actually we want to watch you.
Right.
Because you have an experience that none of us will ever be able to comprehend.
Sure.
They don't come to ESPN to watch anything political. For whatever reason, the bosses there have allowed it. But it's only one-sided, though.
Okay.
Please.
I mean, who still watches that? You know, ESPN, and who still watches that? Now, all I watch is my Cardinals, y'all. I'm human. I watched the draft a little bit yesterday, watched who they picked. Did I get overly excited like I used to? Like when they drafted certain players, like, yeah, let's go. No, like I don't really care no more, right? But I just enjoy it, the nostalgia of it. But, who's sitting there and watching ESPN Sports Center all day? Like I used to back in the day, but I can't imagine who's watching. They don't even talk about sports no more. They just talk about drama. That's it. They don't even show highlights no more.
Saw the video of a man that cleans pools for a living that said he will never get into a public pool or a spa. He gave reasons, like legit reasons. He said that chlorine is not like all cleaning like we've been thinking it will, or like I thought it would. So when you have a big old pool and you have like over 100 people in a pool, like a day at a time for days, everything that it's in their body goes into the water. Everything. So it's gonna be sunscreen, sweat, deodorant, makeup, everything. Grease, pee. And so in the spa part, he showed a video and he said the foam that's at the top of the water when you turn the spa on, or turn it on, whatever, the bubbles, it's not like bubbles because it's bubbling. It's foam from grease and pee and sweat and spit and everything from everybody. And mucus discharge. That's when it got serious. He said that chlorine opens our pores in our whole body. So everybody's booger, like pores all over your whole body. So you got boogers, you got snot, booger, snot, phlegm, spit, everything. And that's pores from our entire body. So just think about that. Then he told us about a parasite. And this parasite is called Cryptosporidium, I think is how you say it. And chlorine cannot kill it. Now, from what he says, if you swallow this, like anytime the water goes into your mouth, if you swallow it, you'll be violently ill. Like you'll be throwing up diarrhea for like 1 to 2 weeks. This is for entertainment purposes, and this is from a man that cleans pools. I have no clue because I don't swim in public pools.
Now, I thought it was over. Sorry, guys. Now, I remember when I was little, I went swimming at a public pool, Loma Linda out there in Avondale, Arizona, y'all. And I remember I got very sick and I broke out with we thought it was chicken pox because still to this day, I never had chicken pox, but I broke out with like a big old rash all over my stomach, all over my arms. Never went back to Loma Linda, but I remember when I was little, went swimming at Loma Linda. Now, we used to go swimming in 3rd and 4th grade, like with the school. Our PE class would be swimming at the public school, which was a walk away. But when I was I wasn't older. I was probably, 10 years old. Went swimming at Loma Linda one day and never went back again, y'all.
Goes on to say that if it's like a family friend pool, like just people that you know, that's fine. Now, if you know clean people, that's great. But if you know some nasty people, yeah. But anyways, so keep it safe. It's summertime. I just want everybody to be safe and healthy. So, I'm trying to remember his name. Hold on. His name is Ben Kaufman 1, and I'll try to tag him in the video below so y'all can please go watch it. And it's like a serious public service announcement. He's a pool guy. His video says he's a pool guy. So yeah. You're welcome.
Frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. That's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through all of this. I really wish there were other influencers out there doing global meditations, but right now it seems like I'm the only one. And so we gotta keep on track, you guys. I need other people out there doing this for me because I don't want to be a single point failure. If anything ever happened to me, God forbid, we don't want that to happen, but I want other people to be doing this as well, not just me.
I snuck my phone because I didn't know what the outside world was saying. And so I snuck my phone to see what people were saying. I've just been in this hospital and I couldn't get my mind around it. I had a stroke. I'm in fucking perfect shape. The clone shit threw me.
Yes.
When they said I was a clone, that made me flip in the hospital. That's it. These motherfuckers are trying to clone me. I didn't have a stroke. So I'm sitting in the hospital bed like these bitch ass. And then I saw me walk into my room. But I'm white. So I see the white me.
But he had a Caesar too?
Just not like all that, the white me. Okay, gotcha. And I'm like, and I'm trying to get their attention. And no one said anything. And I'm like, that's it. They trying to clone me. This motherfucker is all the thing. And so the next morning I was out of my bed. I was standing there like Chris Pratt in Jurassic Park. I was like, what the fuck? And Dave was like, what's up, Fox? I said, what's up, Fox? I said, I know what's up. You trying to clone me, motherfucker. I saw the white clone. And I know why you're trying to clone me. You make me white.
EBT people are freaking out because all they can get is water now. Watch.
All you can get to drink now with your food stamps is water. Not eligible.
Uh-oh.
It's happening, y'all. It's happening. What am I gonna drink now?
Water.
Not eligible. What is going on, man? What we supposed to drink now? Not eligible.
Man, everything's gonna be on sale.
All they're giving us is water, guys. I'm at HEB right now, and you can't get nothing to drink besides water. What's going on, yo?
I agree with this. I think if you're getting assistance, you shouldn't be getting such high luxuries.
Not even high luxuries, but those foods that you're eating that they allow you to eat, which they're still allowing you to eat, is all it does is keep you at a level down here, right? Now, I've been on food stamps. And I had, a little card with my insurance, right? Because my mental illness, I was on all this disability, food stamps and all that back in the day, right? So I had my food stamps card, like, I don't know, 150. And then I had a little insurance card, they'd give me like $100, but I could only get healthy food with that card. That's it. And I would always say, like, man, why doesn't this card do that too? Because if that's all you can get, y'all, healthy food, and you're putting healthy food in your body, you're not going to want to be settled. But when you're drinking soda, when you're eating chips, when you're eating cookies, and that's all you're eating, that's the majority of your grocery haul with that. Pastas, breads, right? When you're eating that majority, you don't want to grow. You don't want to get off that couch. You don't want to start reading. You don't want to start learning. Trust me, I know because I've been there, right? But when I was there with the disability, with the food stamps, I was ashamed of it. I wasn't proud of it. I hated it, y'all. And I just seen how much it holds you back because you come into a good opportunity like, oh man, I might be able to get a raise over here, but I can't take it because then I lose this. And if I lose this, even though I get that raise over there, that raise isn't going to be enough for me to survive. So you know what? I'm just going to stay back here and stay settled. That's how they get you. That's how they get you to stay down. People think that that's to make, to make your life easier. No, it's to keep you down, y'all. It really is. There's no growth in that. Now, anybody out there that's getting that and all that, I'm not trying to talk down on it because I've been there. I'm just speaking how I felt with when I had it. I felt like it held me back tremendously. I had to go do side gigs and get cash, like clean garbage cans, pressure wash, stuff like that, sell stuff out of the trash and get cash flips on Facebook Marketplace. So it really does hold you back, y'all. It held me back. Let me just say, not you. Let me say it held me back in my life. And now I'm off it.
This popular MAGA influencer named Emily Hart, she's been going pretty viral recently, posting about guns, Christianity, and Trump. She wrote captions like, if you want a reason to unfollow, Jesus is king, abortion is murder, and all illegals must be deported. And she was even making thousands of dollars by selling her pictures online. Problem is, turns out she is a he. Yeah, Emily Hart, entirely AI generated by a man that is living in India trying to make enough money so that he can pay for his own medical school fees. There is so much in that. I mean, firstly, it just shows that the current political situation in the US is so sensitive that Emily's own creator said in an interview with Wired that Gemini actually recommended him to target conservative audiences, particularly older men in the US, because they have a higher disposable income and they are more loyal. And secondly, it shows just how AI has become a plague for some and a lifesaver for others. Because, on the one hand, you're someone that's just got scammed by someone targeting your political beliefs. But on the other, you're someone that's just made enough money to put yourself through medical school. The 22-year-old said in India, even in professional jobs like, I'm assuming, doctors and lawyers, you can't make this amount of money. I haven't seen any easier way to make money online.
I run companies for a living. I'm not a media
You start
guy.
up LMLMs,
This business.
you start up multi-level marketings,
Is that what you do?
It's from 9 employees to 165 employees.
Wow.
I'm in meetings from morning till night.
No way.
And I love what I do.
Wow.
Because I live in the greatest country in the world. So
I agree.
message back to you.
I
I
agree.
don't want to be enemies with you. Although if you want to be enemies, I'm okay with
But you
that
know, he
as
didn't
well.
pick
It
the
doesn't bother
best
me.
part of this whole lecture. He's trying to make all Muslims look horrible. He names every single religion and gives them a pass and says, but Islam no. Can you imagine that, man?
The army ants are so savage. You know, like if you step on army ants, they will all kamikaze, just attack onto your feet, and they'll just sacrifice their own life for the good of the thing, and they'll be trying to kill your shoes. And there's something funny about that to me. There's something like kind of reassuring. Again, unless imagine if you're going through the jungle and you slip and you fall and you twist your knee and you fall in just the right way, but you can't get up. You can't. You're stuck there.
Done.
And then army ants find you. They will take you apart. There are records of horses that have been tied up, and army ants come and they'll take out the whole horse.
Screw that.
Oh my god, he's gigantic.
Yeah, it is.
Holy shit. I didn't realize how big it is.
There's a lot of people traveling.
Yeah, it's kind of rough when we get through.
The parking lots are full.
The 4 horses of the apocalypse. War, famine, death, and conquest. Behold a pale white horse, and upon it rode death. It's not death. So which one is Lucifer? Because it has to go with this whole apocalypse theme at the DIA.
Ew, its eyes.
Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who's a Rear Admiral, 3 stars in the U.S. Navy, his job was to map certain areas of the ocean. They detected that things they seen flying in the sky were coming directly from a location from around the Catalina Islands on the ocean floor. He makes a presentation to his superior saying they're tracking these anomalous objects from the ocean floor up to outer space and back. Okay. Somebody else is occupying our moon that is not human intelligence. Government comes out and they say, when a guy from Lockheed Martin says, we have the technology to take ET home, but we don't go. Linda Moulton Howe has a book called The Alien Harvest, where she documented cattle mutilations over a 15-year period.
Epstein files coming out, a lot of people are seeing how awful celebrities can be. But do y'all remember when Neil Patrick Harris brought out a meat platter at his party labeled the corpse of Amy Winehouse? And it was just 3 months after she had died. Just in case you somehow don't know, Amy died on July 23rd, 2011 of alcohol poisoning. She was 27 years old. Very sad news. Rest in peace to her. Sad day that was. In October of 2011, Neil Patrick Harris and his husband, they throw a Halloween party. And at this Halloween party, they feature this buffet. A part of this buffet is the corpse of Amy Winehouse. It was this decomposing meat platter that resembled her corpse, was labeled her corpse. It showed her laying there. She had a cigarette sticking out of her mouth. And I mean, here you're seeing the actual tag of it. I can't really show the picture. You can see a little piece of it here. But it was made of beef ribs, pulled pork, chicken sausage, and a spicy barbecue sauce. So the photo of it was posted in 2011, but it was deleted. And then in 2022, it resurfaced and people got pretty mad about it, as they should. Following this backlash, Neil issued a statement saying, a photo recently resurfaced from a Halloween-themed party my husband and I hosted 11 years ago. It was regrettable then, and it remains regrettable now. Amy Winehouse was a once-in-a-generation talent, and I'm sorry for any hurt this image caused. What do you guys think? Was he actually sorry, or was he, in the great words of Rihanna, only sorry because he got caught?
Where do you see? That's what I was about to say. He wasn't sorry. He was just sorry because people were on his ass. That's why he was sorry. If it wasn't for that, would he have came out and made a statement like that? No, he hasn't made a statement from 2011 to 2022. He hasn't made one statement about it.
United States in, say, like 5 years.
Sure. So there's actually a 3-stage process when empires decline. Okay. So in the first stage, the empire lashes out and forces, it kind of vassalizes its allies. Okay. In the first stage, things look great. The US dollar soars. The American economy soars because the world is dependent on LNG from the United States. The reality is that it's possible that Trump goes to China in mid-May and they sign a deal in which China is buying more LNG from America, in which case Trump's going to look like a political genius, right? Because he's attacking Iran. He's managed to humble China. So in the short term, things look great for the empire because the world is completely dependent on American resources, especially energy, LNG. So that's the first stage. But in the second stage,
well, can I stop you there? Can I stop you there?
Sure.
The problem is that plays right into the way American businessmen and our economy thinks. We think in short-term quarterly profits. We don't build for the long term. And so Trump probably doesn't care. He'll look, it'll make the next the last 2 years of my presidency look like a victory. And I exit, I'm 82 years old as a victor, right? That's right.
That's exactly correct. That's exactly the problem. He's only thinking for the next 2-3 years, which are going to be great for America. But then afterwards, what happens? What happens is that you are over leveraged. Your empire is overextended. You're forced to call up a national draft in order to supply the cannon fodder for your empire. Your economy is overheated. It becomes a huge Ponzi scheme. And slowly, the rest of the world recognizes that we need to unite against America if we are to survive. In the third stage, the world goes to war against America on multiple fronts: the economic front, the diplomatic front, the military front. And then America recognizes that it cannot actually sustain its empire, and its empire declines and dies.
Jeez.
This right here is Stage Door Casino. Now, it's not much of an actual like Vegas Strip casino like you're used to.
Sure.
They do have video poker at the bar, but this place is like a cult-like following. People love it. If you're a dive bar person, they love this kind of spot because they've got cheap drinks, they've got cheap hot dogs and that sort of thing.
$1 bottles.
Yeah, but they will definitely search you before you go in. So they will use a metal detector because they've definitely had issues in the past with violence in this area.
How is crime in Vegas? Let's say over the last couple years, same, worse, better?
So 2020, the homicides had gone up. I think it was up to like 150 something.
Okay.
2021, it went up from there, which was kind of surprising to a lot of people. And then 2022, they went back down. As far as the Strip area, this is, they do what they can to try to keep this safe and keep this protected.
Right.
But you got a whole valley of a couple million people.
Okay, so this is it, right? The Strip?
This is it. This is the Las Vegas Boulevard. Most of the locals are not going to come down here unless they got friends or family visiting or if they work on the Strip. A lot of tourists seem to think that the locals do, but no, locals generally don't spend that much time over here. I do because of the work I do.
Right.
The vast majority of locals are not going to be gambling here, eating here, going to spas here, stuff like that.
I might be going to Vegas here in July for a wedding. Y'all, do I want to go? No, I don't. I always said I'll never go back unless my lady wants to go, which is that circumstance. Her niece is going to be getting married. So we might be going out there in July, y'all, for a little. It'll be nice, though. It'll be nice to get a little break from the kids. We'll drop them off in Arizona with my family. We're only going to go to Vegas for like the night, maybe an extra day, and then come home and spend some time in Arizona. We're still planning everything out, but, maybe a little getaway will be nice, y'all, because boy, do I need it. These past 5 days, I am exhausted right now. I'm tired. Sorry if I didn't talk much during this reaction, y'all. My oldest has been sick, running fever. He's doing better now, but, for 4 or 5 days, my baby, he recently started getting like congested. He did better last night. Finally, last night, they both slept through the night, minus the newborns, waking up to be fed. But, for like 3 days straight, y'all, my boy would wake up because he's congested. He couldn't breathe. He'd wake up coughing and crying. I'd have to wake up and rock him every 20 minutes. And finally, like at 4 a.m, he'd fall asleep. And then we're up at 7, like getting like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, y'all. This newborn, it's been a challenge. It's been, an adjustment, but I know it'll pay off. I don't want to talk like I regret it, y'all. I know I know it's gonna be okay, right? And everything's gonna be okay. It's just a new adjustment, right? So we're tired. I think Mama Bear is gonna go to her mom's and relax over there with the kids, give me a little break. I'm probably gonna take a little nap, try to at least, and if I can, get out to Harbor Freight or something. Maybe throw the kettlebell around, get some swings in or something. So that's the plan, y'all. Hope everyone out there has a good day. What's today? Friday. Have a good Friday, y'all. Hope you're having a good Friday. I'm gonna see you guys on Sunday for the next reaction. This is Segovia signing out of the man cave. I'm gonna see you then. Later.